6 votes in, and members still have not elected a new Speaker of the House.
And on it goes. The House is adjourned now for about another 30 minutes or so. North Central College's Dr. Suzanne Chott is joining us now live to discuss all this. We haven't seen anything like this for literally 100 years. Suzanne, what do you make of the infighting that we're seeing, and where is this going to end?
Well, I would say that unfortunately, it's not all that surprising given the fracture in the Republican Party over the past couple of years and how that's intensified since the poor showing of further right Republicans in the 2022 midterms. Kevin McCarthy has always had a difficult job kind of wrangling in the Freedom Caucus. And I think what's particularly troubling about this situation is that those 20 or so members, and particularly maybe 5 or 6 that will never put their weight towards potential Speaker McCarthy, is that this paralysis right now is indicative of what legislating might look like in this very slim majority. And so this isn't a smart strategic move as this new majority is getting its legs under it. What signal does that send to the American people? They can't even get over this first hurdle to get to actual legislating.
And I'm looking even further and thinking about Republicans who want to try to regain the White House, and they say, what has happened to the party?
What has happened to the party? This is a great question. And I think getting the majority was the first step in trying to show the American people that they can govern, and they can govern in a way that will get things done and potentially have to overcome a Democrat in the White House and a democratically controlled Senate. And again, as I said before, is that this is a party that can't even agree on its leadership. And so how are they going to agree on legislation with very large pieces of legislation that are going to have to come in front of them, some of which the Freedom Caucus has said they won't even consider. And so if they can't use this majority to get something done and have a record to run on, what are they going to do to try to put someone in the White House in 24 and keep this majority as well?
Those never Kevins that you mentioned there, Suzanne, how much of this really is the ideology? They say they want reforms when it comes to immigration and inflation, but then there's this other reality that, no, it's about access to appointments on committees. Where do you see this stalemate?
It's in a couple of places, all of which you mentioned, and I think that there's a couple, like Chip Roy, for example, that has some issues with the way that Kevin McCarthy would put legislation on the floor and the types of things that he wants to see considered. But for a lot of these members, it really is about they want a leader that's going to give them free rein in the chamber. And free rein in the chamber is not an effective way to legislate. And so, again, I think it's a poor strategy for these never Kevins, because if they could, let me say this, they have already gotten a lot of what they asked for, and they keep moving the goalpost. And so at some point, when they continue to move the goalpost, they're going to lose any support they had to actually get something done.
So Donald Trump supporting McCarthy, although not too vigorously. What does it say about his influence?
I find this to be so interesting because as much as not all 20 members, but a lot of them in the Freedom Caucus, either won the first time because of President Trump's support or continue to go to bat for him, like Lauren Boebert talking about him on the floor today, that he said that these members should vote for Kevin McCarthy for Speaker, and they're openly revolting against their former president, and as Lauren Boebert said, their favorite president. And so while we know that Donald Trump's grip on the party is weakening after the 2022 midterms, this is another interesting way that in some ways he's beneficial to members, like with their constituents and when running. But when it comes to legislating in the chamber, maybe they don't have as much use for him.
Wow. And meanwhile, nothing is getting done. Dr. Suzanne Chott from North Central College, thanks for joining us and providing insight once again.
Thanks to you both. Happy New Year.
You too.